So first of all, we start off in the key of A natural minor, and then in the latter section of the lick, we shift into A harmonic minor, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Secondly, this exercise utilizes a lot of economy picking, and for those who might not be too familiar with what this technique is, it's essentially just combining alternate picking with sweep picking. So if you have multiple notes on any given string, you're going to alternate pick those, and then when you move on to another string, you're going to continue with the same pick direction that you ended your previous string with. So for example, if we have 1, 2, 3, 1, so 1, 2, 3 notes on the A string and then 1 on the D, we're going to go down, up, down, down. Okay, so that's essentially it. You'll see a lot more examples of this as we get into it. Oh, another aside, if you don't already know these 3 note per string scale patterns in all 7 positions of the neck, aka the modes of the major scale, I highly recommend that you learn them because they're extremely useful concepts to understand, and you'll see why as we get into this lick too. All right, let's just play the lick now. So we start by outlining this C major 7 chord basically. So I'm just starting with the root of the chord, the 3rd fret of the A string, so it's in its C. Okay, and then I'm just basically walking up the scale, right? So I'm playing the root 2nd, 3rd of the chord on frets 3, 5, 7. And then I'm going to play the 5th of the chord, the 5th fret of the D string, right? So I'm going to continue on to play the 4th fret of the G string, so that's the 7th of the chord. And now once we get to the G string, we're going to play 5 notes on this. So just to back it up for a second, we play 3 notes on the A, 1 note on the D. Okay, so having odd note groupings is really essential to creating lines that are conducive to economy picking, right? Because it allows you to continue ascending or descending a particular arpeggio or just note sequence. So now that we're on the G string, we're going to play 5 notes, and that's... Okay, let me break that down for you. So 4th fret, 7th fret, 4th fret, 5th, 7th. Okay? Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to continue on and just play 1 note on the B string, and that's going to be the 5th fret, so that's the 3rd of the chord. And then we're going to play the 3rd fret of the high E string, again continuing to down pick. Okay? And then we're going to upstroke the 7th fret of the high E string, which is the 7th of the chord. So all together. Okay? Alright. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to shift up to then descend a different chord. So we're going to use our 4th finger and then slide up to the 12th fret. That's going to land on a downstroke, right? So, and then all we're going to do is we're going to descend a C form A minor sweep arpeggio. And if you don't recognize that term, I'm sure you'll recognize the shape because it's a really commonly used one, especially in metal, right? So we're starting here on the 12th fret, which is the 5th of the chord that we're going to descend. So it's 12 and then 10, no, it's 12 and then 8, and then 10, 9, 10, 12. Nailed it. So now this puts us in the position to play that exact same pattern that we did for the C major 7 chord. If we just start that sequence on F now, then it fits perfectly fine in the context of this key, right? So we're going to start on the 8th fret, F of the 8th fret of the A string, which is the note F, okay? Okay, so same exact pattern, same amount of notes on each string, same interval sequence for all of it. All right. Now we're going to continue doing the exact same thing again, and we're going to shift up another perfect 4th interval, this time landing on the 17th fret of the high E string, and descend another C form minor sweep, right? But this time it's going to be D minor instead of A, just because we're starting it on a different fret. So again, works perfectly fine in the context of the key of A minor. So now that we're here, right, we're gonna stick with the theme and do the exact same intervallic idea as those major 7 arpeggio patterns. But if you know your scale shapes, you'll know that you can't exactly play the exact same major 7 pattern starting here. But what we can do is keep with the same theme, like I said, because I know the scale, right? I know basically my template of where to go. So if I use the same pattern, right, the same intervallic idea, I'm left with that, right? So I'm starting on the 14th fret, so the note B. 14, 15, 17 on the A, and and then one note on the D string, which is going to be the 15th fret, 14, 17, 14, 16, 17, right? And then 15 on the B, which is just the minor third of the chord, right? So we're outlining a B half diminished chord up until that point, right? So now here's where the shift takes place into harmonic minor, okay? So instead of playing the 5, the flat 5 of the chord right there, to keep with the exact same intervallic sequence as those major 7 patterns, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and play the 4th instead of the 5th, right? So that gives me, and then I'm going to play this G sharp here, which is messy, which is the note that shifts us into harmonic minor, right? Because G sharp doesn't belong to a natural minor. It's the note that gives it that harmonic minor sound. Okay, so from there, I'm going to jump up to the 20th fret of the high E string, which is the note C, and then I'm just going to descend the A harmonic minor scale, but in this pattern. So I'm going to go back 4 notes, I'm going to descend 4 notes of the scale, starting at the 20th fret. Okay, so then I'm going to jump up a third of the scale after that. And all that means is essentially I'm just skipping 1 note of the scale. So if this is our scale sequence, if I just skip that middle note, that's going up a third. It's that simple. Okay, so now I'm just going to continue with that pattern until I get to the 10th fret. So here's how that goes. 20, 19, 17, 16, 19, 17, 16, 13, right? You gotta remember that big jump right there. And then 17, 16, 13, 12, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you get the idea, right? So I'll do that slowly. Okay. Oh, I should mention that I like to kind of exaggerate that last upstroke on the high E string because it puts me in the position to then strike down on that open A string, which I'm going to do next, pretty hard. And I like to hit the last chords really hard for some reason. So that's kind of what it allows me to do. So, all right, so the chord I'm playing there is just an A minor 9. So after I hit that root, the open A string, all I'm going to do is put my second finger on the 10th fret of the D string, first finger on the 9th fret of the G string. So, and then play the open high E and B string. So, right, so that's what we're left with. That's it. Okay, so let me do the whole thing really slowly one more time. Oh wait, so if you found this helpful, just let me know, give me some feedback. If you hated it and you hate me, then also I guess feel free to let me know, just give me some feedback, I guess. All right, that's it.